Now, firstly, I want to give credit to Mike. I'm going to send you this video, by the way. He's another public speaker who I know who he often said this phrase: accept, reject. Accept, reject. You have the power to accept the good thoughts, reject the bad. The problem is this: we often reject ourselves before we even start. You see that girl who you think is cute, but nah, she's not gonna like me. You reject yourself before you even try. But when other people come along and they say, you can't do it, there's no way. No, you're not gonna make it. For some reason, we accept the bad opinions of other people and reject the good opinions of ourselves. Why is this, Lawrence? Why do we hold ourselves back more than other people hold us back? Why do we stop ourselves from trying? Because we allowed other people to influence us. I'll put it this way. When you're a baby, you don't know nothing. You don't know up from down, left from right, in from out. You don't know nothing. You don't even know your own name. And as you're a child, what typically happens is one of two things. People say things to you such as, people like us don't succeed. Money doesn't grow on trees. There's no way we can do it. No one in our family has gone to college. It's too hard. People are going to judge you. What if? And you see how all these things here just get funneled right into your mind. Little baby you. All these bad things get funneled in here. On the other side, there are people who grow up in families where they're told, I believe in you. I love you. You can do it. It might be difficult, but it's possible. You can be the first one in our family. You're smart. And all these things get built up and they get funneled into this person over here. Now, these two people are going to have very different lives most of the time. Now, one person over here, I believe in myself. I can do it. I matter. I'm confident. It's possible. They are going to try. They might not get it, but they will at least try to get that higher paying job, so they'll try to make more money. They will try to get that girlfriend. We will put like a triangle. Yeah, that's supposed to be a dress. I'm not an artist. They will try to start a business. So let's make like a factory or something. They'll try to get that nice big house. This person, at the bare minimum, will try because they believe it's possible. On the other side, you have this person who, it's impossible. There's no way. So their money is low. They don't talk to people, so they feel kind of lonely. We'll make like a, sad face with a little tear. They stay stuck like in a bad neighborhood, so like we'll make a tiny house. And they don't try big opportunities. So on one side, we have a person who accepts the good, and on the other side, we have a person who accepts the bad. And these are like extremes. This is like 100% negative. This is 100% positive. No one has 100% bad, and no one has 100% good life. It's a mix of both. But this just proves the point. Now, what can we use to learn from this? What is this teaching us here? It's teaching us that when we accept the good things, when we accept I can, I matter, I'm loved, I'm valuable, we will have a life that starts to reflect that. And if we keep accepting the bad opinions, we'll stop trying. We'll feel bad about ourselves. We won't try and talk to that girl because she's not going to like me. You reject yourself before you even try. You won't start that business because people like me don't succeed. You reject yourself before you even try. Oh, I'm just stuck here. I can't get that big house. I can't get that job. They're not going to hire me. You reject yourself before you even apply. And what I want you to do is ask yourself this. Where in my life am I rejecting myself? That's a hard question to answer, but it's important that you do, because when we know how am I getting in my own way, I can stop getting in my own way. Often our biggest problem isn't the people out there or the problems at home or this or that. And people have some severe stuff going on. I understand that. But most of the time what happens is we are the one stopping ourselves because I can't. You want to get that better grade, but there's no way. I'm not smart. I'm not talented. I'm not skilled. No one's going to like my music. No one's going to buy my art. You reject yourself before you even try. You reject yourself before you even put a poster out there, or you post a painting on Instagram, or you put that song on SoundCloud, or you ask that girl for her number, or you try. We reject ourselves before we even try. We reject ourselves because somebody else said to. We reject ourselves because maybe growing up, your family was saying bad things about you. We reject ourselves because maybe when you were younger, you got bullied. I did. Maybe we reject ourselves because deep down, we allowed other people's opinion, we allowed other people's negative opinion to override our positive. Now, let me draw this out, right? So, you have good thoughts over here. You have bad thoughts over here. Everybody has bad days. I do too. Everybody has, I could do it. I believe in myself. It's possible. And everybody has, man, it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. What is this? What is that? Right? Now, let's say that you have, this is your good bar. Like, that's the amount of good you have. And over here, you have this much bad. Like, you have a lot more bad than you have good. Other people have this person right here, they would have like this much good and like this much bad. So they accept more good than they accept bad. And in this context, good and bad means, is this getting me where I want to be? Somebody tells you, you're ugly. I don't like you. You sound funny. Your hair, your clothes, this, that. Whatever. Is that going to get you the life you want? No, reject it. I don't have to listen to that. That person who said they don't like my hair, that person who made fun of me, that person who did this, that person who said that, I don't have to accept that. I can accept I matter. I can accept I'm handsome. I can accept I can. I can accept I'm the one in control of my mind. I can reject the bad opinions of people. I can reject the fear. I can reject the insecurity. I can reject the doubt. I am the one who had the power to accept or reject what I want. I'm going to accept that it's possible. I'm going to accept that I matter. I'm going to accept that I'm good at what I do. I'm going to accept that I'm going to be the first millionaire in my family. I'm going to accept that I'm going to retire my mom. I'm going to accept that I am capable. I'm going to reject the people who say, oh, your video only got 2 views. I'm going to reject the bad opinions. I'm going to accept the good. And you have to live with this. You have to live with the thoughts inside your head. You have to live with the life that you created for yourself. You have to live with you. So ask yourself this. When are you going to stop accepting the bad opinions? When are you going to stop accepting that I can't? When are you going to stop accepting the bad? And when are you going to start accepting the good? When are you going to start accepting that it's possible for you? When are you going to start accepting that you matter? When are you going to start accepting yourself? When are you going to start accepting that this life, you can make something with it? When are you going to start accepting your own worth? When are you going to start accepting it? Because in this life, we all have a choice. And that choice, accept it or reject it. That person who said that they don't like you, reject it. It is what it is. That person who said, man, I love your music. I love your song. I love your clothes. Man, how did you grow your hair that long? Man, I'm so proud of you. Accept that. The person who said, no, I don't like you, reject that. The people who say that, oh, people like us don't succeed. What do you mean people like us? People like me succeed. I'm over here. Maybe That's what you think of you. You can keep your opinion to yourself. I'm going to keep my opinion to myself. And I'm not going to try and force my opinion on somebody else. I'm not going to try and force someone to live how I do. So that means that I'm not going to let them force me to think what they think of me. Let me get some water. I'm about to start preaching on a Tuesday, Wednesday. I sound like this a Bible study. Now, let's dig even deeper into this, right? So, let's just say that from birth, both of these people were equal. Both of them lived in the same neighborhood, same clothes, same everything, right? And the only difference is the thing that they put into their head. The only difference. Because when all of us are born, we are just blank slates. You're a baby. You don't know up from down, left from right, in from out, black, white, green, purple. You don't know nothing. And people say things that get up in there. So, here's what I want you to think to yourself. Let's say that you're somebody who is on this side right here. You're told things like, people like us don't succeed. You don't matter. It's not possible. You can't make any money. How do we take you from here to here? How do we do that? Allow me to clear this board off. Also, if you're liking my videos, if you love what I do, hit the link in the description. I do offer one-on-one coaching calls. You can talk to me there. But back to the point. Let's say over here, and your whole life you have been funneled with you can't do it. It's not possible. There's no way. How do we change you from to this? How do we make this happen? What we do is we first of all identify what thoughts have I allowed to get up in my head. What things have I allowed people to say about me that I let become a belief? So, you might have to ask yourself a couple questions, and these are going to hurt a bit. It's going to hurt a little bit. Look at your life, honestly. Your weight, your health, your money, everything, right? Just plain and simple. Look at everything that you want to look at. And ask yourself, what would a person have to believe is true for them to be here? What would I have to believe about myself for my life to be the way it is? For my health to be the way it is? For my money to be the way it is? For my relationship to be the way it is? For my grades to be the way they are? What would I have to believe is true? Well, I would have to believe that I am smart to have good grades. I would have to believe that I am dumb to have bad grades. So, let's say that your life, people have told you bad things. You can't do it. People like us don't succeed. You're not going to make any money, so we'll just put like, a red money symbol. That's what I'm trying to go for. So, you ask yourself, is this true? Is it undeniably, factually true? And by that, I don't mean your opinion, is it true? I mean, is it actually true? To make this simple, you have two types of reality. You have subjective and objective. Objective reality is it is what it is. Gravity. That's objective. Gravity is up, down. It's true. Subjective is it fell fast. That's an opinion. So, when people say people like us don't succeed, that's an opinion. That's not true. It's just an opinion. And because it's an opinion, that means it's not a fact. And because it's not a fact, it can be changed. So, how do we change this bad thing? How do we go from, let's say you're getting full of the bad stuff, right? We can't. There's no way. How do we go from this to this? You do it by identifying who told you that. Maybe it was family. maybe it was friends, maybe it was music, maybe it was TV. Who told you that you can't succeed? And now that we know that it's not a undeniable fact, what we can do is look for evidence. What is evidence? Let me clean this. In this context, evidence is anything that goes to show that this is possible. So maybe it's music. You start listening to good music, like uplifting, I could do it, you could be the champion, you could be the best, that type of music, right? You can start watching TV shows of people who succeed. So, shows about people who went from being a homeless to a millionaire. So, positive TV shows. You can start listening to podcasts about success or money. You can start watching TikToks and YouTube videos that help you, such as mine. Subscribe for more, turn on the notification bell, and thumb up the video. Content. And our goal here is to challenge the old belief. Because if, for me, growing up, something that was often said was because I have dreadlocks, that my family assumed people aren't going to want to hire me. So I started asking myself, is that true? Well, yeah, there are people who get denied jobs because people make assumptions. But is it undeniably true that just because of my hairstyle, people aren't going to want to hire me? No, that's not true. And how did I know that that's not true? I went out and I saw people who had jobs and had dreadlocks. I know this seems like a silly example, but you can apply it to your life. Maybe in your life, it could be you come from a bad neighborhood and all your life people get told that we can't succeed. There's no way. It's not possible. You can find people like Jay-Z, 50 Cent. A lot of rappers come from really bad neighborhoods and they become successful. You can find people who started a business and they became successful. You can find people who became pastors and they came from bad neighborhoods. So you can find people who, despite the world's bad opinion, they were able to have a good life because they rejected the bad opinions of the world and the people around them, and they accepted the good opinions of themselves. And how did they get these good opinions of themselves? They found evidence. They found music. They found TV shows. They found podcasts. They found content. They found people that they personally know. So people that they know, they found things on the internet, and ultimately they found enough evidence that proved I could do it. It's possible. Yes, I'm 19 years old, so a lot of times people might think that, oh, he's young, he's inexperienced, he's immature. They might think these things about me. But I went out and I found evidence that it is possible. I started going to meetings with other speakers. I started networking. I started watching content. I started practicing. I started just developing my craft. And now I know that even though other people, they might have bad opinions of me, even though other people, they might say, man, you can't do that. Man, you're too young. Man, this, man, that. I reject their opinion. I reject the bad. I accept the good. And you have the power to reject or accept the thought that comes through your head. You have the power to accept or reject what other people say about you. But what is even more important is you have the power to accept or reject the things you say about yourself. When you say, man, I'm dumb, reject it. That ain't true. Man, I'm smart, accept that. Man, she's not gonna like me. Reject that. Go try. Accept she might like me. When you start thinking people like me don't succeed, reject, or are we going to accept that? I'm rejecting that. People like me do succeed. Accept that. I can get a job. I can make this money. I can start a business. I can get that relationship. I can accept or reject. And that's what I'm going to leave you with today. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. You can also find my books and one-on-one coaching in the links below. Have a good one.